come from the state judiciary. They're not ones that I make up. These are ones that comes from the state judiciary. Same with felony case filings are down 23%. Misdemeanor case filings are down 15%. Traffic case filings are down 13%. And DUI cases are down 13.8%. You can go online and find those statistics yourself. So again, while the county population, which was about 145,000 in the early 2000s, and which is over 160,000 today, our population's up, but our filing is down. The crime rate's up, and filings are down. We're not doing our job as effectively as we need to.
If you really look at the statistics, you will learn that you know what's going on in the community. It's the police officers who issue the traffic tickets. So if they're down, that's because the police aren't writing the tickets. We do not go out and write the tickets. You know, the whole, I don't believe that the judiciary has the statistics on our plea bargaining rate. It's the Colorado District Attorney's Council who has the statistics on our plea bargaining rate. The judiciary has the statistics on the number of cases tried. And basically, 1/3 of the judiciary's time is used trying our criminal cases. That leaves 2/3 of their time to do other work. If we tried all 10,000 cases, which are consistently filed in our community, 10,000 cases, 8,000 basically misdemeanor traffic type cases and 2,000 felony cases. If they tried every one of them, there isn't enough time to do it. And so then those cases that aren't tried get dismissed. You know, I just don't understand how these kind of statistics don't fit within my opponent's mind. You've got to understand what's going on, and you just can't rattle off a list of criticisms and not have thought it through as to where it's going to end. You know, I have an article here that says, reduced crime, prisons are closing down. I know that Republican Chief Billings has endorsed my opponent, disputed the fact that crime statistics were high as well. There was a whole expose on that. Where you get the statistics matters. Making them up isn't the way to get them. There are no statistics made up here. You can find these figures online at any of the sites that we've been talking about. These are not made up statistics. Second, let me talk a little bit about the prosecution and the plea rate. It is true that nationwide, you will see plea rates upwards of 85 or 90%. We're at the 98 to 99%. And while you talk about trying to be effective in preventing crime, any proactive district attorney is going to try and keep crime down in a preventive fashion rather than in a cure fashion. But you have to be willing to go to court to do it. You can't implement all the other agencies to do all the preventive stuff unless you're willing to go to court. I'm willing to go to court at the salary that the DA is being paid. To not go to court, I think, is not doing your job. I get up. I'm in my office at 6:30 every morning, and I don't get home till 7 to 10 o'clock at night. I'm glad to see my wife here tonight because we finally get to see each other. We do that every day because that's my work ethic. My phone number is in the phone book because I'm accessible to the public. I can be contacted day and night, 24/7. That's what you have to do, is be engaged in this community. I'm engaged on almost every level. If you look at where the community activities I've been involved in, from the Bessemer Historical Society to the East High Alumni Association to the Medal of Honor Foundation. I helped start the Veterans Day Parade in 2002 and start the Avondale one in 2003. I am connected with this community. I know this community, and I know what they're telling me. They tell me they're not safe. They don't feel as safe today. If you ask the question, do you feel as safe today as you did in 2005? In your heart, I think you have to say, no, I'm not as safe today as I was 8 years ago. And that's why I'm running for this office.
For each one, and then we'll go to closing comments. Bill?
Okay, my opponent just said why he's running for office. And I want to hand to our moderator and to I think tells the story of why he's running for this office. This document is quite an interesting document. It's about a meeting that occurred a year ago, June 27th, 2011. And at that meeting were Jerry Pacheco, Ray Aguilera, Dan Kagosic, the county attorney, Jeff Chostler, my opponent, and a couple of other people. And the inscription on the document says DA office, as though we were all meeting, as if I was there or if someone from my office was there. Ironically, this was held at Ian's Pizza. Jerry Pacheco, Ray Aguilera, Dan Kagosic. Why they were meeting is to convince my opponent to run against me, because so many people in this community that are the good old boys have had enough of me. They want me out of office the worst way, just like Colorado Springs does. That's what this meeting was about. At least I'd offer that. And to top it off, one of the interesting things about it is Jerry Pacheco charged the lunch to the city. And so what I'm wanting to know is that really why you're running, Commissioner Chostler? Or are you running because people have promoted you to run just to knock me off and get me out of the way? And I think that's the reason.
Well, if I could what Mr. Pacheco chooses to do with his charge account, you have to ask him. I have
Oh.
Well, let me tell you, there is widespread concern in this community about safety. And that's why there's such an interest in this campaign right now. If you were doing your job, Bill, there would be half the people in this audience here right now. I have been encouraged by people across this community to run because they want to see somebody who takes care of them. Not just 50%. I have people from all political stripes. I do not divide this community. I do not ask people what their political registration is when they've been assaulted in their own country. You are in charge of justice for every citizen in Pueblo County, not just those who have a particular affiliation. And that's one of the things, the concerns I have, is that this is not about justice. This is about power. And I want to get this back to the basics and get this office back to the people. So if there's an assault committed against them, if there's a rape, we're having daylight entries into homes right now. And nothing's being done about these things. We need to get back to the basics and get this done. I will answer my telephone. I will answer my telephone when I'm called at home or at the office or anywhere and try and give you a response as to what we're going to do with that case. You can't run away and hide from these cases. You have to take them on, and it's a tough job. But it has to be done for the safety of the entire community out here. And you don't look at the political registration behind somebody's name when you want to find out.
Well, we are out of time. It's too bad because it's really a terrific forum. We're going to have a closing remarks. If you recall, Jeff won the coin toss. He elected to close the forum tonight, so we'll have our first closing remarks from Bill T.
Okay, and thanks again for having me. And, you know, let me just tell you what this campaign is not about. It's just not about the number of cases filed. It's not about the plea bargains. It's not about the caseload or the things that my opponent has conjured up. Those are smoke screens. Don't fall for that stuff. You know, it was Albert Einstein who said, whoever is careless with the truth in small matters cannot be trusted with the important matters. Be wary of those who conjure up problems and then say they can solve them. No, the real issue in this campaign, my friends, is that the good old boys want me out of office. I'm convinced of that. They want me out in the worst way because I'm a thorn in their side. I don't do what they say. I do not go along just to get along. Integrity is another way of saying that. I have integrity. I make honest decisions, even if others disagree with me. I do what's right, and I do it with all my might. This document that I handed out is clear on its face. There was a meeting, and the meeting has nothing to do with me or my office, and was charged by Jerry Pacheco to the city. these people support my opponent. I think there's some ethical issues there that you need to consider. I think you need to consider the fact that my opponent has met with Colorado Springs behind closed doors and many times to even undercut the Fountain Creek lawsuit that I had filed. I confronted him with that in 2009, and his response to me was he was trying to make me look good. You know, these are the kinds of things that I think you need to really weigh when you're deciding this race. I am beholden to no one except the people of this community. I do not take a secure path for political reasons. In fact, at times, I take less than a popular path, but always one that is principled, independent, and respectful of the rule of law. I've always fought for Pueblo. I've always fought for people. I have a good resume and a good record. I do not need to pad it with unnecessary convictions. The driving force that impels me on is not the accumulation of personal comforts, of office, or a chance to run for higher office. I understand why I have been given life: to be true to myself, to be loyal to my ideals, to accept my fears, and to be strong enough to overcome them. I am respectfully requesting your support and vote so that I can continue to be your attorney, the people's attorney. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hanson. Well, my friends, I come once before you to ask for your support in this very important election. The district attorney is your advocate. If you don't have the DA as your advocate, you have nothing. You need somebody who will defend you in court and help you with your criminal matters so that this is a safer community. We need somebody there who will take care of the battered and the beaten, the ones who have been raped, the ones who have been defrauded, the ones who have lost their life. We all need help getting that back where it needs to be. I want to rebuild relations with law enforcement and the social agencies that take care of our folks who have been most abused in this community. When Mr. Thiebaut says that this is not about his plea bargaining rate or the rate of the crime or anything, he's telling you this race is not about crime. This race is entirely about the crime rate. This is entirely about safety in our communities. I've done this job before. I've done it successfully. As far as integrity is concerned, I spent 25 years in the United States Air Force. I raised my hand to defend the Constitution of the United States and was sent all over the world to do just that. I came back home because I wanted to serve this community that I love so much. And hopefully you found when I was on City Council and as a County Commissioner, I've done just that. And I've tried to do it with integrity and honesty. And I've also tried to do it by showing leadership. You have to take the slings and arrows to be a leader. In fact, I've had some folks say, Jeff, you lead with your chest too much. Because when I take an issue on, I want it to be successful and I want to win with it. Let me tell you one anecdote about this campaign, and I think it sums it up for me and why I got involved with it. About 4 months ago, I was at a meeting out at the airport, about 9 o'clock, 9:30 at night. And so I decided to come back down 4th Street rather than take Highway 50 and I-25 to get home. I live up here on the junction, where in fact there's been 2 murders in the last 5 years, and the third one had almost happened. I drove down 4th Street because that's where my mom and my grandmother are from. I thought I'd take a little drive down memory lane about 9:30 at night on 4th Street. And I came to the stoplight there, and you know what? I had folks on either side of me. And you don't want to look left, and you don't want to look right, and you don't want to make eye contact. And I know every one of you have had that same feeling in this town. That is not right. We should live in a safe community where you feel safe in every part of this community, and you have to have law enforcement being able to do this. So help me to rebuild that trust. Help me to encourage this community. Help us to feel confident out on the streets again. Let's rebuild this so that we have safe neighborhoods, a safe community, and equal justice for everybody in this community. I humbly ask you for your vote. Thank you.